Hello there, Assassins, and welcome to episode 36 of Rally the Creed Live. We are an Assassin's Creed community podcast focusing on content creation within the community. We do news coverage, we talk about what it's like for content creators within the franchise, and all sorts. So buckle on in. And remember, guys, don't forget to subscribe. 84% roughly of our listeners on YouTube aren't subscribed yet, and it really helps us out and helps grow the channel. Also, want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has participated so far in every episode of this. We're on episode 36. It's crazy to think that we started this 36 weeks ago, but this is insane. So I appreciate everybody for sticking with us, and yeah, may we have many more weeks ahead of us. Tonight, I am joined by a core team member of the ones who came before and team leader for the writing team, and I found out earlier on this week that is also an author. So put your hands together because, ladies and gentlemen, we have Hayden Bird.
Hey, thanks, James. Glad to be here.
That's right. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. And here's a few of the topics that we're going to have a look at today. So obviously, I want to talk about Black Flag with you. So we'll get into that. I also want to talk to you about Unity. Obviously, this week was the first year anniversary of Assassin's Creed Shadows. So we're also going to have a little chat about that. We're going to do the fan favorite so far of the pitching an Assassin's Creed game. So we're going to get into that as well. And there's going to be loads of other things we're going to talk about. So before we get into all of that, how have you been?
Same old. I'm just working hard on my writing. Like every night I'm writing something, whether it's an article or a part of the novel that I'm working on, just doing that a lot. Watching the March Madness.
Nice.
The college basketball tournament, not too much. It's pretty quiet at the moment, except for all the writing I've been doing.
Okay, so do you say you watch college basketball? Do you watch the NFL?
Yeah, you're not gonna like this, but I'm a 49ers fan.
Oh,
I know you're an Eagles fan.
This is going so well.
I'm from San Francisco, so that's why I'm a fan.
I was going to ask how you felt your season went.
Well, they would have been much better without all the injuries. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like every good player gets injured.
Yeah. So usually when it was me and Cole, we do like a weekly story breakdown. So I just wanted to know what you've been up to this week. Is there anything you want to talk to us about? Like you said, you've been working on your novel, and that sort of stuff. So yeah, anything you've been up to this week would be. Let's hear it.
Well, I still do a fair bit of gaming on the PlayStation. I do that a lot, mostly in the night times. In the daytimes, I'm doing my writing stuff or jobs around the house, but so yeah, I do a lot of that. A lot of my writing I do in the nighttime. It's kind of a creative, like I don't know if you've read some, like when creative people like they talk about when they like musicians or artists or writers, they always often have a quirks, like a time of the day they work best. Like if I tried writing something in the morning, it would be terrible.
Yeah.
I have to do everything late at night. That's why every article I publish is basically midnight and beyond. It seems unusual, but it's actually a very common thing in creative backgrounds, like whether it's like as I said, musicians, artists, writers. It's more common. So that's one of the things. I stay up pretty late and I do that. All my articles or the novel, I do that around that time. So that's what I've been doing at night.
So when you say doing stuff at night. I remember, I think one of the first articles I wrote for the ones who came before, that was done at like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Like I'd gone to sleep. I woke up. I'd only had about an hour, and I got up and I was like, I just need to get this out of my head. I literally sat there and wrote this article and then sent it over to Colin in the morning. I was like, I wrote this last night, so have fun.
Yeah, right. And that's not unusual. Like people doing something and they realize they have a really good idea and they need to write it out.
Yeah.
That's actually quite common. So, it happens. Like you get an idea that you realize if you wait, you'll probably forget it or something. If you wait, you just got to act on it.
Yeah, so Nikki says that creative people and neurodivergent people often focus better at night or at set times of the day. I think that's me down to a T, that is.
Right. Yeah, the scientific view of it definitely makes sense.
So is there anything else you've been up to? I've got big news this week, but we'll if there's anything you want else.
That's exciting. I wouldn't say anything that interesting. Like I'm planning some vacations. I'm saving up to like I'm going to Orlando, Florida in the summer. I'm planning on going to UK next April, like April 2027.
Oh, nice.
It's a long ways off, but that's kind of the point because you have to plan these things. You have to. There's a lot of stuff you have to do that goes in. Like it's not just my plans. I have family, friends. You have to know what they're up to, what they're doing.
Yeah,
that's a lot of planning.
Yeah, Cole just said that we'll have to sort a UK meetup.
Oh yeah,
that's
one of the reasons I'm going. I'd love to do that.
Yeah. Okay, so my news this week is that I haven't really done much this week other than I went to London for the Ubisoft event for the first year anniversary of Shadows. So they did a collaboration event with the British Museum, which have a samurai exhibit on. And it was really cool. It's my first event. I got to meet like Andy Reloads. I got to meet Aaron from the VP team.
Mm-hmm.
My partner Nicola has said all she's heard this week since we got back on Thursday was when I was in London.
Right.
But I wanted to show everybody like some of the cool stuff that we got. So I got a chance to. So I was really starstruck when I was there. Firstly, I met Ironside George, Andy Reloads, BPR Gaming, but also there was Daz Black was there. I don't know if you know Daz Black, but there was also a guy called Kale who does lots of video game stuff. There were some massive names there. And I was just so taken aback that I was in this room with so many cool people that I didn't even take that many pictures of the event at all. So I was really bummed out about that, but I had a really good time. It was really fun. So some of the stuff we got was we got to listen to Yasuke's voice character for about half an hour, talk about his process and stuff.
Right.
So we got this, which was
wow.
signed picture by Narway and Yasuke, which was pretty cool.
That is so cool.
That'll be going up in my in the office for sure.
Right.
We also got this pretty cool hat that I'm currently wearing.
I like it. 1 year anniversary, yeah.
Yeah. And then we just got like it was nothing massive. Like we got a tote bag with it on as well.
Yeah, I see.
And then we got a notebook, which I'll be probably using this for something as well.
Right.
So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was really fun. I got to meet some great people. Yeah, it was excellent, and I can't wait to do the next event. And I was also interviewed by Amy Woods, who is the social media manager and stuff over there for AC UK,
Right.
and I'll be featuring on their socials or website or wherever they decide to put it. But yeah, while everyone else was chatting and taking pictures and stuff, I was being interviewed for about 10 minutes. So it was quite cool. I really enjoyed it. So can't wait to do the next one.
Yeah. Do you know when? Did they tell you when the next one is, or is it just like
Oh
you know
no!
there's going to
So
be one?
I arrived. There was massive drama. I arrived late. Um,
Right.
Aaron had saved me a seat. I was sat at the back. I was really like nervous and stuff when I got there because obviously I turned up late. I missed the meet and greet. Then we had an interval. I went up to Aaron. I sat next to Aaron for the next half an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and I was talking to Rob Harris, who's like our contact that we talked to,
Uh-huh.
and he was like, "There are events coming up, and he'd love for us to be there again." So yeah, potential. I don't know when they are, but he said that there are events coming, and he'll let us know when they are. I just asked if I could have a longer period of notice than a week and a half, which is what he
Yeah.
told me. So
Yeah, I bet they need
yeah,
to give you a little more.
he was like, save the date. Here you go. He was like, we'll pay for travel. We'll pay for we'll pay for travel. We'll even pay for a hotel room if you need it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't because I had work the next day. So I finished work at 4 o'clock on Thursday. Had to get the train for 4:20 to get into London for like 6, 6:30. I was late. Had to run to the museum, which I couldn't find because I didn't know where it was. Yeah, I had so much trouble. And then the event finishes at 9. Then they took us to this nice, really swanky bar thing.
Yeah.
Had a couple of drinks, and then I had to leave at like 10 because I had to get back to the train station for 11 to get the
Right.
train from London back home for 12:30 because I had work the next day at 7 o'clock. So
Yeah.
I was done. Friday came. I was done. I was sparking.
Yeah.
I just wanted to sleep.
Right. Dude, I can imagine.
Yeah, so it was like, just give me enough time so that I can sort something out, and that way it would be okay.
Right.
Yeah, so Cole said that he needs a month's notice. I would need a month's notice, really, ideally.
Oh, wow. Yeah, when I was working in the past, it definitely wouldn't be a month. Sometimes it could be even like a week or two
Yeah,
prior, and they would accept or decline it.
yeah. It's like, oh, yeah. But Nicholas just said that so the train I got was the last train from Marylebone Station home. If I missed that train, Nicola would have had to have drove to London to come and pick me up so that I could go to work the next day.
Oh gosh.
It was so close, like it was on the edge.
Wow. Yeah, they don't really do a train system in the United States like they do in Europe and UK. Like it's not a big thing here. So I rarely see any of that. Like
Yeah.
public transportation isn't very important here.
So how would you guys just have to? I guess so there wouldn't be trains across states or anything. It would just be local areas or.
The only public transportation is really Uber and Lyft.
Okay.
There's some bus systems, but literally nobody rides them. It's like you'll drive by a bus and there's nobody on it. Like every time too.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So that was my week this week. So nothing huge, nothing spectacular. Just a nice trip to London, which was absolutely amazing.
Right.
So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was Unity getting its 60 FPS update. How did you feel about firstly, how do you like Unity? How do you feel about its upgrade?
Well, I really loved Unity. You know, when it came out in, I think it was 2014.
Yeah,
I didn't have a PS4 slash Xbox One yet. I was still on the PS3, and when I went to buy it, I wasn't really like caught up to date on the stuff as when I was younger.
yeah,
And they're like, "You can't play that on PS3, but you can play Rogue." I'm like, "Okay, I'll get that one." You know, Rogue was on the
yeah,
last gen, and you know, for a while I resented upgrading consoles because I was kind of, you know, I felt like there should have been backwards compatibility because I had so many physical games that I would have had to sell on the PS3 that wouldn't have worked on the PS4. And you know, eventually me and my brother decided to buy it together, the PS4 in like 2015, so probably almost a year after Unity initially launched.
yeah,
And that was when we bought the PlayStation, we sold the old stuff like the PS3 and every game, every controller, every headset. We had almost the entire. We went to GameStop, had almost the entire thing paid for,
oh wow,
and Unity was the. We were gonna buy like one game each, and Unity was the one I bought because I was dying to play that one.
yeah.
And yeah, if you look like on my PlayStation trophies, Unity, I got like, you know how you get the first trophy. The first trophy is the very first day I upgraded, so that was like I was really excited for that one.
So how do you feel about the 60 FPS update at 4K?
You know, I'm glad it got the update because Syndicate, the game after, had that like a year prior, and
Yeah,
Unity was, you know, after initial difficulty of the launch, it was a really like beautiful game that could have never been done on last gen,
yeah,
like the
definitely.
PS3, 360. It never could have been done on that, and the parkour is still like I see people posting about it all the time. All these years later, they consider Unity like to have the best out of all the games.
Yeah, which is crazy. Personally, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Considering it's an older game, but everyone just loved the. You know, I was a big fan. I love the parkour. I'm glad they gave it the update. I mean, that's close to all of the old ones, like the previous gen ones. I guess Ezio Collection and maybe
Yeah.
another one I'm not thinking of that haven't got the patch yet.
So I don't, and so I'm not sure if the Ezio collection is at 60 FPS, but I do know that Syndicate and Unity have it. I
Yep.
don't think I'd be surprised if anything from Rogue back could get 60 FPS.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
a more less technological
Yeah, because it's
advanced
an older
era.
system, so I can't imagine it doing very well with it. So
Right.
they'd probably be better off just remaking them all. Maybe that's why we're getting a remake of Black Flag, and maybe.
Yeah, I'm sure that I know Ubisoft CEO, he talked about, you know, doing some remakes. I wouldn't be surprised if the first Assassin's Creed was up next
Yeah.
after, because that's the only one that's still, you can't, I mean, aside from PC, you can't play that on, it's still only like a PS3 360
I
game.
know I have it on my Xbox.
Oh, you mean, right, with backwards compatibility,
Yeah,
right.
so my Xbox can run um, certain Xbox 360 games, and that um, AC1 is on the list of games that you can play.
Right, yeah, I totally forgot they worked on but like on PlayStation, it's a no go. You can't play it on there. It's Xbox only.
PlayStation doesn't have backward compatibility like Xbox, does it?
No, it has
If
backward compatibility with PS4, but almost nothing with PS3. The only thing they have is these classics, they call it, on the PS Plus
Yeah.
Premium. It's like a collection, but it's streamed games,
Oh,
so there's
right.
no like installing or and most of them are smaller games. Like there's a lot of Disney Pixar games, and I haven't seen something
Yeah.
as big as like an Assassin's Creed available.
Okay. So that brings me on to my next question. Obviously, with Black Flag being announced, how do you feel about that? How do you feel about Black Flag first?
Well, that's that's interesting because Black Flag is like not even like by far and away my favorite game in the series, and part of that is because when COVID came and everyone was isolating and stuff,
Yeah.
that's when I really started playing Black Flag more since I originally played it in 13.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many hours I clocked in just playing it, doing the story, and it it after a while became by far like my favorite in the series. So with the remake, I'm excited, but I'm also a little anxious because
Yeah.
the game in a way is like super like even sacred to me. That's how good it was. So I'm excited for the remake, but I really hope that it's faithful and it does the original game well. I mean, I think in general having a remake of that game is going to be almost like a new game because from what I would imagine, they would rework the combat and a lot of the stuff that was on the original game is going to be changed in the like I heard they're considering not doing the modern day story in the remake
Yeah.
and
Which is the right
so
move.
yeah, it's going to be different, but I'm excited for it. I got high hopes for it to be like a faithful adaptation just because of
Yeah.
how much I enjoyed the original.
Yeah. I clearly I'm outnumbered here on this, but um, I hear I kind of had the same worries as people that love Black Flag. Is that but my worry is more of if they don't get this right,
Mhm.
this is going to impact them massively. Like they have to get it right, and if they don't get it right, it's going to be a real issue for them. So
Exactly.
I even though I don't like Black Flag, I think that I have the same worries as everybody that does like it, but for a slightly different. Like you guys are worried about what it will do to the game. I'm worried about what if they don't get it right. What's this going to do for Ubisoft, and how is this going to negatively impact them if they don't get it right? Like the modern day story, for instance, is widely regarded as the beginning of the downfall of the modern day story. It's the first game where you don't have a named protagonist. That first person pad walking through the offices is really frustrating and really annoying. And not everybody, but majority of people complained about the modern day. But when you see that they potentially might be cutting it, everyone's like, why cutting it? It's part of the story. It's really good. You guys
Right.
didn't like it when it first came out. You can't say that it's fantastic now because they're trying to cut it down. And
Yeah.
I think this is the problem that they're going to have is that they're not going to be able to please everybody, and it's going to be really difficult to get right.
Right. There's going to be some division from people who are very faithful to the because Assassin's Creed now is nothing like it was before. Everyone knows that the RPG, the everything has changed, and there's many fans who, in a way, partially myself, even though I've enjoyed the new ones, are really faithful to the originals just because they were my childhood. I grew very attached to them, and I really like the new ones too. But there are a lot of people who are more opinionated who like I've seen over the years people who don't like the direction the games changed when
Yeah,
they kind of like did a reboot. So there's going to be people who are faithful to the original and they don't think whatever the remake is going to be like will be good, and then you're going to have people who really like it. There's going to be a little bit of division for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. It's going to be. It's either going to be massive for Ubisoft or it's going to be a massive failure for Ubisoft. And I think, depending on what happens with Black Flag, I think it's going to really change the landscape for Ubisoft. It's either going to push them more to selling the company or selling IPs. I think if they don't get it right, they're going to have to do something, and that's worrying.
Yeah, I mean, and also if the Black Flag remake doesn't succeed, they're probably not gonna go for more remakes.
Yeah.
Like when the VR game didn't do very well, they were quick to say they're not trying VR again.
Yeah.
So that would probably happen with the remakes. They wouldn't bother trying to do it again. I would imagine.
Yeah, because I think their same philosophy is that would make sense, because obviously the Ezio collection, can you call it a remake or can you call it a remaster?
I would call it more of a port, like a port from a past.
Yeah,
I
it's not-
noticed this slightly enhanced in visuals, but it's mostly pretty much the same.
So I think that it will. It's going to be polarizing like AC3's remaster. That's the only one that's got a remaster. Like, none of the others had a remaster. That is the only one, and it was poorly done and it was poorly received. So potentially, this Ubisoft's remake portfolio could be really short, depending on how this goes out.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cole says that it's going to look fantastic. It's going to look incredible.
Yeah, I'm sure they got visuals are going to be great. I mean, this is much different tech from 2013. It's much more advanced now. New hardware, like higher end PCs, PlayStation 5 and the Series X and S. So they got a lot more power to work with.
Yeah. So next on our list. So did you watch the special stream for Shadow Celebration?
When was this stream? Was this recently?
Yeah, I think it was on Thursday.
I actually think I missed that one. I'm going to have to go back and watch that.
So Simon, the assistant game director, was playing Shadows, and he shared some teasers of post launches for the games.
Uh-huh.
So basically the post launch on Shadows is not over just yet. So from what I understand, he possibly hinted that the next updates are going to be all content compared to the recent ones, which have been feature heavy.
Right.
So how do you feel about Shadows? How do you feel like the year is gone? Do you like Shadows? Do you?
Yeah, I enjoyed it when it came out. Of course, I pre-ordered it, and I got pretty lucky that the game got delayed the second time because I was out of town.
Yeah.
For the original February launch. And when they delayed, I was going to miss like a whole month of it being out. But when they got delayed, I was kind of glad because I got to be home for that. And the setting, people have been talking about feudal Japan for years before Shadows. Like, it was like one of the most highly requested eras. And we finally got it. And one of the things I liked the most was the return of the dual protagonists, like from Syndicate. Not as much pick a character like male, female, and plays on the whole game. More like being able to switch whenever you want. I really like that.
Okay, so I actually like Shadows. I think it's a fantastic game. I do understand that it has its flaws, as does any any game in the franchise, even
Right.
my favorite games, I think are flawed in some way. But that doesn't mean that they're not great games, if that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, oh bloody hell, I don't know what I've just done. Trying to. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah. So I like Shadows. It's in my top 3 Assassin's Creed games, but that is personal for me. I'm not saying it's better than all the others, but for me, I just prefer it over some of the others. I think it's had a somewhat average year.
Right.
With the delays, we've had some good stuff added. Claws of Awaji, I really liked. But then you have obviously the Attack on Titan stuff, and it just wasn't great. Like Lewis has said, everyone in their chat was asking for updates, and they had nothing. And I think this is the biggest problem with Ubisoft right now, is that they're not answering the questions. They're not giving us anything. We're just surmising here. Like, talk about Black Flag. We've been talking about it for months. We've been talking about it so much intently. Like,
Right.
there's been art books found. There's been music added to YouTube playlists. There's been hints. There's been all these things, and nothing. Even when they announced it, it's still not an announcement. So I think Ubisoft's problem right now is that they just don't communicate very well.
Right.
And I think that's been mostly the problem with Shadow's first year, is that it's just been we've just been left to do whatever we kind of want, with the average. Oh, guys, you're getting this on this date, or you're getting this here, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Right? I think they need to give us more and pay more attention to us and give us a little bit extra.
I agree. I think more transparency with the fan base would be helpful for both Ubisoft and, of course, the fans too.
Yeah, no, I agree. It definitely needs something, because we just don't get enough. You might not have seen, but there was a content creator sort of feedback session with Jean Guston, when he took over.
Yeah.
And a couple of content creators got to have a chat with him. But even then, I don't think a lot of questions were answered. It was more of a, this is what I'm looking at, this is what we're going to try and do, and no real direction. And I think that's what Shadows will be remembered for. Unity is remembered for its bad launch. Syndicate is remembered because it's got a grappling hook in that doesn't need it. Origins will be remembered as the awakening of an era of RPG games that people don't like.
Right.
Mirage will be remembered as a callback to original Assassin's Creed, but not fully utilizing that. And Shadows will be remembered as the game that was left at the wayside and not communicated very well.
I agree. Unfortunately, you're right.
Yeah, and it's really frustrating.
It is, yeah.
So Cole said that they avoided the word assassin. Now, when I was playing it, I thought it was because Japan wouldn't use the word assassin. Like, Japan at that time probably wouldn't have used the word assassin.
Yeah.
But they might not have, but the Portuguese would have, or anyone else that would have influenced those times.
Right.
they would have known the word, but yeah, I really struggle. And Nova, it's okay if you think it's a mid game, and that's fine. Like I said, I really like it, but some people don't, and that's okay.
I agree.
It's and I think this is why Assassin's Creed still has the dedicated fan base it has now, is that nobody's opinion is outrightly correct.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely an identity issue. But I also wanted to talk to you, Hayden, about the Assassin's Creed Netflix series.
Yeah.
So we found out that production is underway for their live action series, and we've had further announcements regarding recurring cast members were made this week. So I have a list of cast members. So we have series regulars, and then we have recurring roles. So people that are going to show up throughout the show. So we have Toby Wallace. I've seen him, but I've never seen him in anything. But he was in a film called Baby Teeth and Eden.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got Zachary Hart. He was in The Witcher Blood Origin.
Right.
Then we've got Laura Marcus. She was in Andor. Tanzin Crawford, who Cole was talking about last week. She's in a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, which is that prequel for Game of Thrones. And we've got Cleese Bang. He was in Dracula. Then we've got a couple of recurring roles. Sean Harris. He was in The Borgias.
Yeah, he was in Borgias. He was in Prometheus as well.
Yeah. Then you've got Corrado. I'm not even going to try to say that name, but he was in Medici. Then we've got Youssef Kurgor. He was in Home. He was in A Man Like Moonbeam, which is a British comedy TV show. He was really good in that. I thought he was really great in that. He was also in Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. He was also in Napoleon. He's also voiced multiple characters throughout Valhalla. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And then we've got Lewis McCarthy. He was in Game of Thrones. So we've got a lot of characters here, a lot of people here that have worked on historical dramas before. So Tamsin and Youssef, they've worked together on A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. So we could potentially see great things right now. Are you looking forward to the Netflix show? What are you scared about? Is there anyone on that list that were called out that you know of or don't know of? Or
yeah, so when the show was announced, I'm pretty sure it was like 2020.
Yeah.
And I was at the last job I was at Walmart, and this was during COVID, so I was able to be on my phone a lot, and I had notifications on for Assassin's Creed, and I was really hyped when I saw they announced the project, and I was a little disappointed when it stalled for a while. After 2020, we didn't hear much about it until even recently, but I'm glad that it's in active development and it got greenlit, and because I was really anticipating it, and I was a little disappointed when all the information kind of went quiet. But yeah, they've done a great job getting back on track and working on it. As for the cast, the only actor I know is Sean Harris, specifically from Borgias. It's one of my favorite shows, and he was Micheletto. Another historical show. So he's good at those kind of period dramas. Yeah. So I think he'll be great in this one. He's the only one that I know, but I'm sure the cast will be great, in general.
So I said that they would have to. So the main cast, they're all pretty. I would say I don't want to say nobodies because that's not fair, but they're not well known names really.
Yeah.
So I said a couple of weeks ago that they would have to release some big names to draw people in.
Right.
So Sean Harris, he's probably one of the biggest names on here.
I agree.
Then you've got Nomi Rapace.
Oh, she was also in Prometheus.
He was also
That's
in
right. She was the
Prometheus,
lead in that one.
Yeah, which is Cole. She was also in. Is it the girl with the dragon tattoo or something? I think.
Right. That was a while ago. Those were based on books, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So
She was in that as well.
So literally, when I said they would have to get some big names, and then they dropped two massive names, two people that have been in Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
Also with Michael Fassbender, that's fantastic.
Right.
So I think the little connections to Assassin's Creed is really good. They've worked with Michael Fassbender. He's been on Assassin's Creed.
Right.
They've got Yusef. He's voiced characters for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I personally think this is going to be really good, and I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I agree. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm glad it didn't get canned. Like after it went silent, I'm glad they didn't cancel it. I'm glad they continued to, work for it to get greenlit. I'm just glad they didn't give up because I would have been pretty sad. It was like 5 years without any news. It would have been sad if we, kind of waited and it got canceled or whatever. I'm just glad it's happening.
Yeah. So how do you feel about so we don't really know the plot, but we do know that it's going to be set in ancient Rome,
Right.
ancient Roman Empire. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I like it. I'm glad they're trying. With the movie, they tried an original story, not like a retelling of the games.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think that's a smarter idea than sometimes retelling the story. You have original characters, you have an original story. Like I said with the movie, like that wasn't based on one of the games in the series, and the show is also not. I think it's smart to do a original story, original setting, everything, because some shows, and they do work, like The Last of Us, which is basically retelling. They do work quite well, but I do like when they are able to also be completely original and not always have to rely on retelling the story of the game.
Yeah, so I always said that if they were going to do it, they would have to do new characters, because if they put Ezio or Edward or Bayek or someone on the screen that we've seen before, and they didn't sound, and they didn't move like their character counterparts, then they would get hated for it and they would get slated for it. So I like the fact that they're potentially looking at something completely different, which will allow them a little bit more freedom as opposed to trying to be stuck behind and restricted by video game logic.
Right. I agree.
So also, Ubisoft also announced that they have appointed a new general manager of the creative houses 3 and 5. So 3 was the high intensity live service creative house, and 5 was the casual and mobile creative house. So we have Julian Bears has been appointed general manager of Creative House 3 and 5, and Thomas Adrian has been named general manager of the Creative Network. So how do you feel about obviously new leadership. How do you feel about the creative houses? Do you know much about it, or?
Well, first off, I definitely need to look more into that. But I think, sorry, I think it's a great thing to have. They've tried a lot lately with, bringing newer leadership in, like the head of the Assassin's Creed, like that was brand new.
Yeah,
Like this, he got promoted. I don't remember if it was a promotion or he just was hired, but I think it's smart to try something new every now and then, like bringing new people in,
yeah,
fresh, new people, because it's worked in the past. I mean, with other game franchises, when they've relied on switching leadership, like, and it's succeeded, like, it's a proven strategy that I think could pay off for them.
yeah. I think you're right. Um, it works. It works really well, and I think getting new people in, new ideas, new direction, new enthusiasm
Hmm.
works really well. Cole says that going back to the Netflix series, Cole said um, that it will be the hidden ones and not assassins, which will be interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
based on the time period,
yeah,
assassins weren't created. Like the Brotherhood wasn't a thing until it was the Hidden Ones first. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they try to portray that, because most people who aren't familiar with that storyline of the
yeah.
games might be a little confused.
I actually think that I like that they're doing the hidden ones and not assassins. If that,
Right.
because I think if we start, oh, there we go. If we do assassins, I feel like it's going to be really difficult to try and fit it into the timeline and where it sits. But if they do the hidden ones, we can kind of shrink it down a little bit and try and move away from it slightly.
Right.
I want them to do. I think I mentioned this to Cole. I want them to do like like the MCU.
Right.
So they have like the ACU and then the ACGU, which is the Assassin's Creed game universe and the Assassin's Creed universe, two being two different entities. I think that would work really well, but I don't know.
Yeah. It's such a big franchise that keeps growing. It wouldn't be a bad idea to try
Yeah,
to, it's one of the best-selling gaming franchises of all time, and it's got no signs of slowing down, obviously. So, yeah, I agree.
I'm glad because that will give me plenty of content to talk about.
Right.
Um, I'm just about to say, Barry McLean has just said, "Is it bad that I'm still trying to love Black Flag?" No, I've been trying to love Black Flag since it came out. So it's not bad. Keep trying, I guess. I am looking forward to Resynced. Because
Yeah.
it's going to be new content. It's something to look forward to, and I've also said that I will give an honest review and I will look at it and we'll talk about it. So I'm looking forward to it, even though I don't particularly like it. So I wanted to talk to you about. I got a couple of questions to ask you. So this is the write-ins and community
Uh
interactions.
huh.
And because this was such short notice, haven't really been able to ask the community any questions for you. But I have some questions that I've got for you instead.
All right.
I want to know what it's been like. What it's been like for you personally since you joined the ones who came before. How long have you been with us? And what's it like writing an article for the ones who came before? What's your process? How do you find it and that sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, some people don't remember, but I originally joined the ones that came before during COVID, and I wrote a couple articles, but I had studies to work on. I was in my first year in community college, and I couldn't really juggle the responsibilities of, writing consistent articles at the time. So I like joined the alumni program, I think they call it, when I
Yeah.
took a step back, and I rejoined in June, I think 2024, so almost 2 years. And I really enjoyed it. I think, I wouldn't like, I've been very satisfied with the way everything's gone. I Although the writing team is quite small,
Yeah.
I am lucky that I have, time to write these articles. So doing like if you look at the byline of most articles that have come out in mostly recent several months, almost all of them are mine, and it's not a problem for me. I actually like it, but a part of me would like to have, to get some recruitment in, because, I was promoted to team leader,
Yeah.
but there's not really anything I can do with those responsibilities when the team is so small. So that's why I look, on multiple social media platforms for potential recruits. But it's a tough find, because it's
There's
such
a
a
tough world out
small
there.
area of interest. Like, you have to be a writer, but you also have to know about Assassin's Creed and be a fan. And you have to not be part of one of the other sites like Access the Animus or
Yeah.
Creed Scholars, because they have their own writers too. So it's not easy. But yeah, I've enjoyed it. I'm proud of every article I've written, and I don't see myself slowing down. I enjoy it. I enjoy the people here. Yeah, I have no regrets. I think it's been great.
Well, I'm not the greatest of writers, even though I've done a couple of articles, but I'm more than happy if there's any articles that need writing. I don't mind sitting here and tapping away and writing some articles.
Yeah, I know. If I mean, I always encourage people, if you have ideas and you enjoy writing, then write as much as you want. I mean, it's a very good way to have like self expression. Like, I do really well. Like, I feel better when I'm writing, and when I get something out that I'm proud of.
Yeah.
Like, mentally, I feel a lot better. So I definitely encourage people to take an interest in it. It's a very good hobby.
Yeah, so I it's so much to do, but with everything that's been going on this year, I haven't really done much. But there was a gunpowder plot Assassin's Creed that I was supposed to be writing a pitch for the articles and stuff. I just don't. I just haven't found the time. It's so
Uh-huh.
like there's so much that needs to go into these pitches and stuff. Like, you have to research the time period, and then you have to make sure that nothing's been done before and nothing's going to contradict. And yeah, but if you guys need help or anything and you need some stuff, I'm more than happy to give a hand when I'm not making videos and stuff.
Yeah, that's, I get what you're saying. Certain articles that are like, it depends on the type of article you write as to how much research you have to do.
Yeah,
If it's like what you're saying, you definitely need to learn the era and the, like you said, like, so there's nothing contradicting. Like, no, you're not writing anything that wasn't actually historically accurate.
yeah,
But there's also types of articles, like most of what I've written is based on, I do a lot of retrospective, like nostalgia type articles,
yeah,
and those I only have to do some research because I have a good memory, and a lot of the articles I write on, I was a bit, I liked all the games, so I know about them. So a lot of the stuff like release dates and story elements, that stuff I don't need to research much. The only stuff
yeah,
I research is if there's a fine detail of something that I don't want to write about and have it be inaccurate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you don't
Yeah.
want to lose your credibility.
No, and that's the thing, isn't it? That's what you've got to be careful of what you're doing and stuff. So yeah. So you're enjoying. So this is your second time with the ones that came before, kind
Yeah.
of. So you're enjoying it. What was it like when Cole promoted you to team leader?
Yeah. Yeah. I was just asked if through a message if I was interested, and I said definitely because I'm really proud of. I think I've written 20 something articles
Oh wow!
published so far, and I consider them all to be pretty well written, like from a regular creative standpoint.
Yeah,
And yeah, I was really really glad that I got the nod to be the writing team leader. And like I said, I would love. That's why I look for recruits because the responsibilities of team leader would be like actually able to be used more when there's
yeah,
writing team members. When it's really such a small team, there's not like much I can do with that. But
yeah. I agree. Um, like so, I'm the video content team leader,
yeah,
and I have a biggish team,
right.
but we're all so busy that it's really difficult to nail us all down. So we're all doing different projects, and it's a bit easier, but yeah, and videos take so much time um, to get sorted. So I
Uh-huh.
can imagine because there's only three of you in the. Is it three in
In
the?
the writing team,
Yeah.
um, well, it's I don't really know for like I'm not gonna say like a definitive answer in case I'm wrong, but I think it's myself at the moment because the people we've had like have recently dropped out. Like
Oh,
Finn,
okay.
he got a job. He was on the team. He got a job at a publication in UK. So he's stopped being a part of the operations, and um, a lot of the writers that we did have either kind of went inactive slash
Okay.
took a hiatus of some kind. So I'd say just from what I've experienced and what I've seen that it's mainly myself holding it down for
Oh,
the
okay.
moment. That's just what I've noticed, unless there's something I'm missing.
So I've got a question here from one of our regular listeners.
Uh huh.
And he says, should Assassin's Creed have more adult themes? Podge, what adult themes are you referring to? Because I would say it's pretty adult already, but let me know what you think, what
Yeah.
adult themes you're talking about, and then we can go from there.
Well, especially Shadows. That was the first. It felt like the first game they really went all in on the more mature content.
Yeah,
Like in that era, like it sounds gross, but decapitating and stabbing, like that
yeah,
wasn't as like graphic in past games. But I think the developers knew they had to be authentic to the. Unfortunately for the people, they had to be authentic to the era where that was very common.
yeah. I think it's a good. I'm trying to, from what I know of Podge, I'm trying to work out what adult themes is referring to, but I would say that it's definitely not a PG game series.
No.
And I would say it's not been a PG game series since like AC2
Hmm.
maybe. But yeah, while Podge is while we're waiting to see what Podge is referring to, I want to know what got you into Assassin's Creed.
Oh yeah, well that's a way back. I gotta. Um, well, first off, I've always been a fan of history, and oh, when I first started playing Assassin's Creed on the PS3. That's where it
Yeah,
began on those systems. And when I became interested in them, They were all like really cheap pre-owned. This was probably like 2009 or 10 when I was younger, and after I played all like a lot of them, I became really attached. Um, like I had a bunch of posters, merchandise, um, all the games in physical boxes when I used to have discs,
Yeah.
and I think part of me being a history fan, but also just like especially the beginning games, how well narratively done they were, like with all the storytelling. I really grew attached. I was when the games came were coming out, I was not even 10 years old. So when I was
Oh,
playing
wow.
those on the PS3, it was like I liked them so much that it was childhood like memories. Like I remember really enjoying those as a kid. So a lot of it is about my how much fun I had with my childhood, and I followed it ever since. Like obviously I've bought and played every game and that there is, especially every new release. And I really like the way the direction they're taking. Like for a while when I was younger, I thought at some point they were gonna like conclude the Assassin's Creed series. Like it was only a temporary, like some game series like Uncharted, for example, they
Yeah.
ended. I thought that something like that would happen, but now it's like this franchise is never gonna slow down. It's like it's full steam ahead.
I so we do know that it was only supposed to be 3 games, supposedly. Um, so you could there was an end, but we love it so much that they decided that they would keep going.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of Ezio's fault, really. I think, from what I understand, that Ezio was loved so much that they decided
Right.
to run with it a little bit more, and now we've got all these different games and God knows what else.
Right.
So it's like 10:45 here.
Oh
Um,
wow. And it's only 6:45 where I'm at.
yeah. Um, so yeah, it's. I don't think there's going to be an end because there's so many different points in history that you can use. Like, let's take Unity for instance. That's one particular moment in that country's history, but they could go either side of the revolution and it equally work just as well.
Yeah.
Valhalla, for instance, the United Kingdom is such a cultural rich country that you could pick any point in time and it would potentially work. Japan as well. You've got so many, like each game itself could branch off because there's so many different points in time that could work.
Exactly.
Um, oh, God.
And there's a lot of eras. There's still a ton of time periods they can take on that they've yet to
Yeah,
explore. Like I've always said, they after the movie tried Spanish Inquisition, I think it'd be cool if the games tried it because it is a very fun, like entertaining time period. And the earliest in like the years that the earliest setting the game has had is still the 1860s, I think, with Syndicate. There's also I wouldn't say I'm not gonna say future, but more modern, like the World Wars. There's
yeah.
like early 1900s. There's still so many areas they can explore that they haven't done yet.
Wasn't I think doesn't Syndicate end in like 1902 or something like that? And
I
then you've got
wasn't that the Jack the Ripper DLC. I
yeah,
think. I
and then
think yeah, that went a little bit further.
yeah, and then you've got is it Chronicles Russia? That was
Right.
1914. But like you said, there's so much time that you you could use. So Cole says that Jack the Ripper was 1888.
Uh,
want to have a look when Syndicate takes place.
Yeah, it was the
So
Victorian.
Syndicate takes place, in 1868 in London during the height of the Second Industrial Revolution. The game also features a separate time anomaly, which takes you to it takes you to 1914, 1916. So look at Cole with all his great answers.
He's like, he knows the dates off the top of his head.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to Google it. Expert.
So Podge says that he means that, like, beyond the surface level things like revenge. I guess instead of the protagonist having a revenge story like Ezio, Bayek, Norway, what other storyline could you use? Really, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I mean, Ubisoft has great creative people that come up with these stories that they've been coming up with these stories for it's almost 20 years of Assassin's Creed now.
Yeah.
So they're like some of the best in the business creative minds, so they will always figure it out.
Do you think that the revenge story is overplayed?
It honestly depends on a lot of things, like what type of revenge. I know it sounds weird, but like what type.
Okay.
Like most of the time it's someone you love dies and you avenge and you do all this. But it also depends, there's a lot of factors like the time period you're in. Like I know obviously we did feudal Japan as the latest one.
Yeah.
And it's for games that are like Assassin's Creed, it's common to feature a storyline like that just based on the way the games are crafted. It's not like Call of Duty or something where it's completely different. Like it's storylines about like warfare and you don't see that kind of stuff, and it's about like how the stories are structured also.
Yeah.
And Assassin's Creed it's done a lot of that because it's just kind of how the lore has played out, has been created.
Yeah, I don't know if it's been played. Like, I don't know if the revenge story has been played too much, but I wonder what other story you could have, because I'm trying to think. So Altier's just he's not a revenge story. Obviously Ezio is. Connor is to an extent.
Yeah.
Edward is greedy.
Odyssey is a good example. That story was about like finding your family, reconciling. There wasn't really a revenge plot in that one, if I can recall.
And then so Edward was greedy. Arno is a crybaby. Jacob is an anarchist. Evie is a strategist who neither one of them have a revenge story, and I'd say Syndicate is probably one of the weaker stories. Bayek is a revenge story.
Yeah.
Odyssey isn't a revenge story. Is it? No. So Odyssey isn't a revenge story. Valhalla isn't a revenge story. Mirage isn't. Shadows is. Cole says that you should do a proper love story. What, like a Romeo and Juliet thing? Like two... But then you could say that was Unity.
I was just going to say they attempted, that was some things people debated about. They were thinking it was more of a romantic tragedy with Arno and Elise than a like you said, like a revenge story. But I thought I think it's good to throw different storylines out there rather than the same revenge, revenge, revenge. I thought it was cool that they did more of a uh, romance sort of plot. I like that they attempted that.
I don't like Unity mainly because of Arno, but
Hmm.
I do like that they tried something different.
Yeah,
But I just wonder what other story anchor could you use um that would propel the story to go against the Templars that doesn't involve revenge?
yeah.
And that's the difficult part, I think. That do you what about if they did it what about if they did like a white knight sort of thing, like dealing with oppression and stuff, ending corruption?
Right.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
Call just mentioned the 1920 Chicago. Like a mob story would be like the Italian mafia or something in
yeah,
New York, Chicago. That would be pretty cool if
yeah.
they
I'm not.
tried that.
I I don't know. I personally think that they should keep machine guns and stuff out of Assassin's Creed because it would be pointless.
I can agree with that as well.
Um, because then, yeah, I don't think it would work very well. But if they gave us like a Splinter Cell esque
Hmm.
type modern day, that would be pretty cool. Or just make Sam Fisher an assassin in modern day, and then
Yeah.
you got two. And thinking about it while we're talking about it, you could say that three of their biggest series are all tied together anyway. Because you got um, Assassin's Creed,
Hmm.
then you've got
Far Cry.
the assassin, Sam Fisher, and then you've got
Right.
Watch Dogs.
Right.
And then we know that Sam Fisher is in Ghost Recon, so you could say that Ghost Recon is part of that as well.
Yep.
So I think Ubisoft have been telling a long story. We just haven't been looking for modern day in the right place.
Right.
Assassin's Creed is about the prehistoric, whereas this is when you talk about like Splinter Cell and stuff. That's modern day stuff. That would be.
Yeah.
I think that's how it would work. What is your favorite Assassin's Creed game and why?
Definitely Black Flag, like by a long shot. It actually before COVID, I think it used to be the Assassin's Creed 2, but once I got to spend real time with Black
Yeah,
Flag during lockdown, that's when I really, really like got invested in it. I just think like the storytelling was like as good as it's ever been from Ubisoft. Like the character development, like people I understand had skepticism because really you don't play as an assassin till the last like 45 minutes of the game. The
yeah.
majority of the game, you're a reckless pirate. And, I just really like the character development. I think Edward's one of their best characters, like up there with Ezio. I think he's one of the best ones. That would by far and away be my favorite one. And like I said, a lot of that is thanks to all the time I played on it when I was in lockdown. It really made me appreciate the the whole thing.
So I have a question. Um, when you say that you played it in lockdown, so during lockdown, um, I
Hmm.
I played Call of Duty.
Right.
I played Warzone. That was my thing during lockdown. And I was convinced that Call of Duty Warzone during lockdown was fantastic. Um, and do you think that the reason that people find these particular games great is because we couldn't go out and do other things? Do you think that partly led into why you like it so much?
Well, for example, when Valhalla released, it was like I'm pretty sure it was the fastest selling game in the series that
Yeah,
even Shadows, which sold pretty well, didn't come near Valhalla. And part of that is because everyone was at home, and also that the new consoles were coming out at the same time. So lockdown had a big effect on that for sure. And yeah, I think people played started appreciating the older ones as well. But games like Valhalla, which released like in the middle of the pandemic, really like made people it's no surprise that it's such a high selling game based on the state of the world at the time.
yeah. I That was going to be my question because I know that Valhalla was the lockdown game, like Cole says,
Yeah.
but I am seeing a lot of, like, especially when it comes to sales for Valhalla, it only sold well because of lockdown. If we weren't in lockdown, it wouldn't have sold very well. And I was just curious, as if because of what you were going through during lockdown, did that aid you in, because that's the game that you were playing and that's the game that got you through that difficult period of time? Does it hold a special place in your heart because it got you through that special time? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I would think so. I owned the game twice, so I owned it on when I was still playing on PC. I owned it there, but shortly after I bought it, I still had the PlayStation 4 and I played it on there.
Yeah,
And um, as as a side thing, as for the sales, I don't think it sold. I think the fact that the pandemic was happening boosted the sales. I don't think that it sold just because of the pandemic. I just think the
yeah,
pandemic increased the sales based on the state of the world at the time. But it definitely had that advantage. Everyone was at home and bored and looking for. That's like I don't know if you remember the Nintendo Switch was
yeah,
like impossible to find right when COVID started because everyone was stocking up for lockdown.
yeah. Um. So Cole, so we're talking about Edward, and Cole says that um about Edward not becoming an assassin. So we talked about Edward not becoming an assassin till the end.
Yeah.
I got a question. If Eivor became an assassin at the end of Valhalla, do you think that people would view the game differently, like they do with Black Flag?
Um, there's a chance. Like I said, I know so many fans that are still like like favorite with the old formula that they kind of resent the changes in the series. I
Yeah,
was on Twitter when the whole RPG thing kind of happened, and I was following a lot of people who had strong opinions. And for the people from the original that kind of prefer the old ones, I think so. But um, the thing with the RPGs, it's created so many new fans that is only a great thing for the series. Like many people, including many people I know, never played Assassin's Creed until the
yeah,
RPG thing. So as like a side thing, as much as like some people resent the whole formula and everything changing, like a lot of new fans were born into the series because of the transformation it went under. If that
yeah,
makes any sense.
yeah. It does make sense. It's all something I've always been curious about. That if so, I've always viewed Black Flag as the prototype for the RPG era, right? And
Uh-huh.
some of the stuff that happens in Black Flag can be moved across pretty much to any one of the RPG games. And him Edward becoming an assassin at the end of the game is one of the things that people justify why Black Flag is better than the RPG games, because none of them are assassins. But if any of them became an assassin at the end of their respective game, would that make the game better? Would it make the game more received? For instance, if Narway at the end of Shadows said that she was an assassin, would that make the game be better? Like, not better, but would people perceive it differently if Bayek became an assassin, not stayed in Siwa? If Cassandra became an assassin or a hidden one, would those games be perceived differently based on that one thing?
I think it's hard to really tell, because, you know, like for example, when Odyssey, as an example, came out, like this was the furthest back in the franchise like time period they went, and there was no. It was basically Spartan's Creed, as some people call it, because there was no Assassin Brotherhood, and that one still sold really well, and people loved it.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's, you know, it's a huge, like, it has to have Assassin to be good or to sell more, because Odyssey is a good example that you can have nothing about Assassins. It was a success. You can still do that.
Yeah. I'm just going to point out something that Podge has just said, right? So he says that James hates Black Flag because it led to the RPG games, yet one of his favorite games is an RPG. Also, hi Skather, how are you doing? I don't hate Black Flag because it led to the RPG games. I hate Black Flag because when I was waiting for it to come out, I was super excited for it. It's pirates, it's Assassin's Creed. I love it. That's fantastic. Sounds like a match made in heaven. I played it, I was massively disappointed. Then I spent years listening to people talk about how fantastic Black Flag was and how great Black Flag is. But for me, its map was too big at the time. Its map was too big. There was too much going on. Edward's not an assassin. It was more aggressive than the games previous to it. And then when I say that it's the prototype leading to the Assassin's Creed games, the RPG games, that's what I see now, is that you can translate the two together. That's not why I dislike it. I dislike it for my own reasons and whatever, but I can also see that it translates to the others. I don't think they I don't hate it because it's an RPG. It's leading to an RPG game, and also I'd also like to point out that not all of the games, bar one, on the Xbox Store are listed as action adventure games. The only game that has role playing in it, or listed as role play, is Shadows.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so I didn't know this until I was looking, and Valhalla is listed as an action RPG. Origins, Odyssey, they're all listed as action adventure games. And Shadows is the only one that's listed as an action. I think it's, let me just double check, because I'm pretty sure it's just listed. Yeah, I think it's just listed as an action adventure RPG or role playing.
Right.
So the RPG era isn't really there either.
I agree, yeah.
There was a lot going on. You don't need to be an assassin in an Assassin's Creed game. Wish the job markets would be what they were a couple of years ago. Yeah, I wish they were too. So in that case, if Black Flag is your favorite Assassin's Creed game, who is your favorite assassin?
Well, I mean, everyone, just because everyone will say Ezio, I'm not going to. I'll definitely say Edward, just because how like different he was, because like a lot of people didn't expect, like it was a risk trying to make Black Flag, like trying to make it work, because it was so unlike any of the other Assassin's Creed games that it, I wrote about this in an article a long time ago, that could have been perceived as, unfaithful to the story, or like disrespectful. I don't know. But one thing I like about storytelling is character development.
Yeah.
Like I don't really like when a character starts off as like incredible and ends as incredible. I kind of like have there being development, like showing they're going through stuff and they're changing as the story goes on. That's one of the things I like.
Yeah, Edwards as a character is all right, I guess. He's no Ezio,
Yeah.
let's be honest.
Right.
But is Ezio the safe choice? That's the question.
I mean, he's the only character that got not just 2 but 3 games, so he has that to his advantage.
So everyone keeps saying this, right? And I have to remind myself that so we the fans are the reason that Ezio got 3 games. So
Yeah.
when AC2 released, with his 1 game, he was only supposed to get 1 game. There was supposed to be an Altair game, an Ezio game, and then a Desmond game. And that was supposed to be the end of it. But we as the fans loved Ezio so much after 1 game that decided to give us another 2,
Right.
which then subsequently gave us the series that we now have. So yes, he has 3 games, but he was loved when he was loved by far when he only had 1.
Yeah.
So then he got more. Yeah. My dad seems to think that if Altair got 3 games, he'd be loved as much as Ezio, and I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but Revelations did a good job closing out Altair's story. It's almost, I wouldn't say it's like he got a second game, but he had a pretty big presence in the Revelations, so it's like they did a good job closing out his story, because obviously they moved on to Ezio. That's why some people don't like Revelations, because it was very. They don't think it did enough. They didn't like the tower defense. They didn't like the small amount of changes, but it's definitely one of the more. It's definitely one of my more favorite ones, just because of the way they designed. Like having Ezio like ending his story as he's older, and then ending Altair's story. It was just really satisfying.
Yeah, I agree. I like Revelations, and I think it did really well with Altair's story. So on to our final section of the night is the pitching an Assassin's Creed game. This is a part that we all seem to enjoy. We've spoken about Aztecs, we've spoken about Scotland, all these different places. So, if you could pitch an AC game to Ubisoft right now, where would it be? What would it be about?
It's funny. I did an article on this, like this exact topic, but I don't remember what I wrote, so I'm just gonna say something different. But I did an article like exactly what you're saying. I did, but for me, honestly, I think as Assassin's Creed gets older, eventually they're gonna. I would say revisit a similar time period just with a different story. I think that's going to happen, especially if they start using so many different, like we're talking years from now, if they start using so many time periods they need to like reset, and I bet they reuse certain periods. I was gonna say Roman Empire, but that's getting covered now by the
Yeah.
series, the Netflix series. So I'll go back to what I said earlier, that even though it wasn't a game, I think doing the Spanish Inquisition game version this time, not movie,
Yeah.
would be really great.
Okay. So I think we spoke about the Spanish Inquisition before, because I think that leads. That's a Isn't that around the Aztec sort of Mayan sort of time? Really, I think they would work
I'd have to
together.
Google that. I think it's between 15 and 1700, the Spanish
I
Inquisition.
think the
I'm
Spanish Inquisition, didn't they? Um, didn't they like? I thought they. So they didn't kill the Mayans, but they did bring smallpox, measles, and influenza
uh,
um, due to the Spanish conquest and forced labor. So
right,
they're around the same, like, so Spanish Inquisition um, are landing in Aztec sort of
hmm,
land, wherever that may be, if that makes sense. But
I agree.
so I think that was really good. I think Cole's mentioned the Aztecs before, so they could actually work really well together, especially if you did like a series,
Uh-huh.
because you could do, like, if you everyone says that Assassin's Creed needs more sequels, so like more sequels with the same characters.
Yeah,
So you could do a Mayan Assassin's Creed, and then at the end of that game, you have the Spanish Inquisition invading, and then your second game could be fighting the Spanish Templars, I guess, which
right.
could work out really well. That'd be pretty good. I like this idea. The more I hear about it, the more I like it.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of potential.
And the kind of weapons and stuff that you could use for it. We went to the British Museum when we were there, me and my partner,
Yeah,
and they had a Hawaiian exhibit there, like a pop up. I know it's not quite the same, but and in the Hawaiian exhibit, you saw weapons that had like teeth and stuff around, like pushed into these pieces of wood and stuff.
yeah,
I reckon that would be pretty cool, and you get those sort of weapons, obsidian glass as well. So that would be pretty cool. Cole
right.
says that Ezio knew Columbus, and so did Aguilar.
Yeah, I remember in the movie, the ending, they talked about. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Aguilar entrusts Columbus with the Apple of Eden. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, there you
If I can
go.
remember at the end of the movie, that's when the Templars try to find the apple. They go to Columbus's
Yeah.
resting place.
Take Skather says that there'll be obsidian blades, sacrifices, beheadings. Take my money now. I think that would be pretty cool to lead into that. Like, the Templars are sacrificing Aztec civilians or whatever to take stuff, and then you have to go mine some obsidian somewhere to make weapons, and
Right.
I think that would be pretty cool.
It would definitely.
So actually, so I don't know if you heard, I made made a sword a couple of weeks ago.
I saw you post that. Yeah,
Yes.
I voted on your poll for the name for it.
Yeah. So Ezio's Bane is
Yeah.
is now is now named, and it got me thinking. Do you think that forging weapons in Assassin's Creed would work? Like, could you imagine if you had to go, like, say you needed to make a sword for whatever reason, and you like be able to forge new weapons and stuff? Do you think that would work in an Assassin's Creed game?
Um, I think they could, but they would have to simplify it because people with less uh interest, like less patience, they're not going to want to go through a lengthy process of making a
Yeah,
weapon. If they were able to do it in a quicker fashion, because there's a lot of people that just want to play the game and they don't want to spend like 20 minutes doing that, something like that.
yeah,
If they could simplify it, then definitely.
yeah. I think so. My partner's just said get James and Hayden together to write the plot and send it to Ubisoft.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, I'll email it to Rob and be like, oh, you can send this to whoever you need to send it to.
Right.
Yeah, so Skather's like you collect the materials, you have a blueprint, you go to the forge, and you just press a button, and that creates the weapon for you. Like there'll be an animation, I guess, that would pop up if you smashing some bits of metal and stuff and crafting it. But I think that could work potentially.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you heard of the game Ghost of Yote. They actually tried something very like that, like when it came out.
Yeah.
There's a story about the main character's father was a blacksmith, and you can use that forge, and it uses the DualSense controller, so you can actually move it up and down like you're
Oh,
hitting the
really?
sword, and you can put it on the fire to warm it up. If you haven't seen that, I was just YouTubing it because they took really good advantage of the controller, and that could be like something Assassin's Creed could try. Like you're almost like you're flipping the sword, you're hitting with a hammer, getting it heat. It is like very advanced.
Yeah. So so Cole says that they need to make James the blacksmith in the next Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
Nicola, who doesn't play video games, but she said that you could have a sequence of buttons that you press. So you know when you've got like the kunais and stuff in
Right.
shadows, or you have to press like certain buttons and what have you. Maybe something like that.
Right.
Steve said that you had to wiggle and do shit with your controller. It was incredibly frustrating. You got to blow on the controller. I will say this, Ubisoft, if you are listening, Ezio's Bane could be in an Assassin's Creed game. Let's turn it into a piece of Eden.
I agree.
There you go. Piece of Eden right there. Ezio's Bane.
I totally agree, man.
Yeah, I used to play PlayStation before I switched to Xbox,
Yeah.
and I was never a fan of the dual sense on a controller. It's innovation, but it's stupid. Yeah, it just
Right.
they're great, but yeah, the novelty wears off pretty quick, I think.
Yeah, I actually I enjoy it depending on what form it's used. Like games like Horizon, Forbidden West,
Yeah,
the features of the controller, like when you're holding a bow, it actually the restriction you get on the
yeah.
triggers, it like actually feels like you're doing that. And
Okay.
it has the what do they call it? The haptic feedback where like if you're walking on water, like a shallow creek, you can in a way kind of understand that you're or walking through a tall grass. It's like you can kind of like if you had your eyes closed, you can kind of in a way
Really?
feel that some of that stuff happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not. I just don't think it's for me. I'm too old now. I just want to play a video game.
Right.
If I wanted to go out and feel grass, I'd go outside and feel grass. Um, it's great, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure. Before we close out, I do have an unrelated um, video game question for you.
Yeah.
Have you seen Crimson Desert? And if so, have you played it? Are you going to play it?
I've been looking at it on the PlayStation Store. It's an online thing, right? It's big,
No,
or is it single?
single.
Oh, it is. Okay, I gotta look into it more because the problem is there's a bunch of games coming that I'm gonna need this year, like Wolverine, which is on PlayStation,
Yeah.
GTA 6, um, other games that are gonna get announced probably in Summer Games Fest. So there's gonna be, I'm gonna have to do the math to make it seem like if I spend 70 on Crimson Desert, would it be worth it? And could I still afford all the other games I need to buy for the rest of the year? So I'm going to take a look at it.
So Skather said GTA 6 is an instant skip for him. He's not going to lie. It's an instant skip for me as well, to be fair. That's a massive skip for me.
Right.
I think there's only one other game I'm looking forward to this year, which is the reboot of Fable.
Right. That's coming.
I love the original, so I'm looking forward to that. I don't think there's anything else that really grabs me this year, really, that we know is coming out.
Isn't the new Gears of War supposed to be coming this year? That's an Xbox. I thought it was supposed to be coming this year.
I haven't seen anything about it, and it's not in the store or anything, so I'm not.
Yeah, I wonder what's going on with that.
James Bond First Light looks pretty good.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play that one.
But yeah, I'm not. I like to play stuff when I'm not playing Assassin's Creed. So for me right now, Marathon is pretty high on my list right now.
I've seen that on the store.
I also downloaded The Crew Motorfest.
Oh right, that's a Ubisoft title.
Yeah, which is like Ubisoft's version of Forza.
Right. Yeah, I've seen. That's like the third one. They did the Crew 2.
Yeah, and then
this one now.
Which is it's not perfect, but it does what it says on the tin, which is a driving game, so that's not too bad.
Right.
So when you're not playing Assassin's Creed, what games do you play to get you through that?
Like when I'm not really doing the Assassin's Creed, I do the multiplayer game I play the most is Rainbow Six Siege, which is another Ubisoft game. I've just been doing it for years. Like I'm one of the original players that I've been doing it for so long. I don't see a reason. Like I know the game as good as anyone, so I don't really see a reason to stop, even though it annoys me sometimes.
Yeah.
But I do a lot of single player as well. Like I appreciate single player more than a lot of the gaming community now, who really like competitive, like high stakes, like competition, where I consider that fun, but I need single player in there too to balance out the relaxation. Like I love adding single player in there. Like I do a lot of. So one of the main reasons I have a PlayStation is because I love their first party games like Uncharted, Spider-Man, Horizon, God of War. So I do a lot of that, and so I do a lot of those. And I'm trying to think what else I'm on right now. Apex Legends I do with a friend. We do that a lot. Stuff like that.
Oh, nice. So they're currently in chat now talking about Paw Patrol. So Paw Patrol, the Paw Patrol game is a racing car game.
Wow.
That my dad has for the kids.
Right.
And it's really fun. And I think Jorah would like it, Cole, because When you play, you can have this thing called assisted driving on, or assisted driving. So all you have to do when you play is press and hold A. That's all he has to do, and the game will automatically guide him through the racing. So he'd absolutely love it. I'm trying to see if it's on here and where I can find it so that I can tell you what it's called. I just don't. Poor. Is it Paw Patrol World or? No. Is it Paw Patrol on a Roll? I think it's Paw Patrol World. Cole. No, it's Paw Patrol Grand Prix. That's what it's called.
Right.
So this is it. I'll pick Cole up a second. Just
take a look.
This is it. I think you'll love it. And all you do is press and hold A. It would just drive it for. That's all he's doing is doing the acceleration.
Right.
I think the game will steer for him. Okay, so that's the end of it, Hayden. That's us done.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to join. Thanks for having me.
Paw Patrol Rescue Wheels. Sorry, that's my bad.
Right.
So I'll just do the closing statement. So thank you everyone for being here. Massively appreciate it. We are currently ranked on Google. You can find tons of episodes and clips on the YouTube, Spotify, and TikTok accounts. One way you can support the show is by rating us on Spotify. You can get involved with the comments on YouTube, anywhere really, and we will reply to them. We'll get in touch with you. I just want to say thank you to Hayden for being here, taking his time out of his busy schedule to come and talk to us. It was on short notice, so I do appreciate it. You can also get in touch with us via the contact page on the Ones Who Came Before website. It's in the top right-hand corner. Next week is a very special episode and a very different styled episode next week. So next week we are having a host interview, which will be conducted by Nicola, my partner, who doesn't play video games. And this is a chance for you guys to ask me any questions, anything you want to know about me, where we can discuss my favorite Assassin's Creeds, all those things. So yeah, any questions you guys want to ask me, that will be the episode to do it. And that is next week. And then we have a special episode the week after when I'm in Scotland. So that is something I'm looking forward to. James, what's the meaning of life? I think it's 47. 47, sorry. How many planets are out there? I want to say 45. 67. I mean 69. On that note, guys, that is it from me. I want to thank you everybody for listening. Also, the TikTok gifts have been greatly appreciated. They support the channel and they support the website costs. And yeah, I appreciate all of it. Hayden, before we go, where can people find you?
The only platforms like social media that I use is Twitter, aka X, and Instagram. Twitter is I'm most active there because I do all my writing updates. I post my articles, I post novel links, so that's where I'm active the most. My @ is Hayden B Writer, and on Instagram it's more that's more like a for fun personal thing. Like I post like pictures when we go to like sporting events so those are the platforms I'm on now. I don't use Facebook or Snapchat. like I said in the beginning of the show, I use TikTok basically for Rally the Cream. But yeah, Twitter and Instagram are the places to go.
Hold on. So Skather's asking, can someone from the ones who came before smuggle me in to the on-site events? Look, if I can, I will. I'll let you know when the next one is, Skater, and we'll sort something out, and I'll try and stuff you in my jacket somewhere, and we'll get you in. Don't worry. That will be that's my challenge for next time. So, guys, thank you for listening, and that is it for another episode.